Joining me now, New South Wales Liberal MP Jason Falinski. Jason, good to see you tonight. This is good news. You obviously played a role in this particular policy. What are your constituents, what are your small businesses saying on the ground about the necessity to have this particular measure extended beyond September?
Oh, look, a lot of businesses in Sydney have told me that it's still pretty tough out there, that they've really found this payment to be critical in terms of them being able to keep the doors open and to keep a relationship with their staff. I wouldn't be telling you the truth if I also didn't mention that a lot of them have said to me it's been very hard to get some staff back to work as well. So I think one of the critical things in the announcement that we did today was also say that we're reintroducing mutual obligations, which means people can't just sit on these payments without at least making an effort to go and find a job. So I think there are a number of aspects to today's announcement that are very important for the long-term prospects of the Australian economy and people's economic opportunities moving forward.
Well, Jason, you make a really good point there, because a cynic, an old wag friend of mine, suggested this afternoon that it should be renamed JobKeeper, because it would ensure that some people didn't get back into the workforce as soon as they should. And that's obviously a concern that you just raised, having spoken to a number of your core constituents.
Yeah, look, a lot of businesses are saying in my area that, you know, especially people who run coffee shops, movie theatres, a whole bunch of, you know, businesses in the sort of leisure and entertainment area have made the point to me that as they've been able to reopen, actually finding, trying to get people back to work has proved incredibly difficult. You know, I've heard stories, and I've heard stories about people, you know, who were earning $400 a fortnight, who are now on $1,500 a fortnight. So the disincentive to work can be incredibly high. So, you know, the point of these payments is not to have people not at work. The worst thing you can do is, in terms of people who are looking for work, is to leave them unemployed. The whole point of our welfare system is to get people back to work as quickly as possible. This isn't about saving money. This is about saving lives. We know over a long period of time that the worst thing that you can do for people who are vulnerable, who are marginalised, is leave them on unemployment or on welfare payments in the long term. The statistics are very stark, and they've been stark since the 1970s, that what it does in terms of people's health and well-being is enormously and potentially really very dangerous. People on welfare are subject to violent crimes multiple times. People who are not on welfare, people who are on welfare in long term, have shorter lifespans, lower educational outcomes, higher incidence of mental health. I mean, everything that you want for people who are struggling and trying to make their way back into our community, welfare appears to deliver the opposite of what they require. JobKeeper has without doubt been a critical element of the government's response to ensuring that this health crisis doesn't become an economic crisis. So how the system is designed and the announcements today are critical about sending a very clear signal to everyone that we need to start getting back to work, and the incentive for you not to be at work is coming off over the next 6 months.
Jason, just on that theme, the Prime Minister has mentioned that the elimination strategy is folly, that we can't go down that path. Yeah, and that, you know, it's so important that we make sure that we look after the economy as much as we look after the health of our Australian citizens. I'm interested in your thoughts on that.
Well, the elimination strategy, I shake my head at, to be honest, because there are people who literally know better who are advocating for this. And in doing so, they know, I mean, it seems impossible for me to understand how they don't realise that they're misleading the public and giving Australians false hope. This is really a policy of fool's gold. If we go down the path of an elimination strategy, it will cost tens of billions of dollars. And let us not be under any delusion, it will also cost some people their lives. That is what it will do. And there is, at the end of all of that, there is no prospect that you will actually have eliminated the virus itself. In countries or in cities like Beijing, where the government was able to deploy drones in order to ensure that people were people were staying within the law that the Chinese government had brought down. Now, I mean, I don't know how Australians would react to the idea of us deploying drones to, see where their movements were and what they were doing. But that's what they did in China, and they still had an outbreak in Beijing. What we can best do moving forward is A, hope for a vaccine, but B, is to keep the contact tracing regime up. And so when there are the inevitable outbreaks, we can suppress them as quickly as possible and hope we don't have what has happened in Victoria, which is that this has spread far and wide, and you've now seen the economy go back into lockdown there.
Yep. Jason Falinski, always great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it.